I've nearly come to the end of my trip in Bangladesh. It's been incredible to learn about the country of my grandparents and how it's adapting to climate change. There are more than 180 million people living here, side by side, in limited space. And one of the country's biggest challenges has been making sure there's enough food to eat.
And what is interesting in Bangladesh is the growth rate is relatively low for an Asian country. It's near to 2.2 at the moment. The major problem is that the country is already very full and very densely populated. So we need to find also agricultural or food systems which are labor intensive, efficient, but also produce healthy foods.
Arnu Hamales is the Bangladesh director of IFAD, an organisation trying to help stimulate growth and development.
I think the focus for the last 20 years has been very much on food security, getting everybody enough to eat. I think we've passed that stage now. Now we need to work on earning money in the countryside, but in a sustainable way.
Rice is by far and away the most plentiful crop in Bangladesh. It's a staple that most eat at least once a day. And farmers are now being encouraged to try and grow other crops like fruits and vegetables to support a good diet. One of those is beans.
So this is really valuable. This is a high yield crop, what they're trying to move towards to try and get more money for themselves, because these types of dried seeds, when you sell them, they taste really nice. They're a good source of protein. Therefore, it's something that they're trying to sell more of and make more money.
The problem for many farmers has been choosing how to develop their land properly to give them the best chance to get as much money as they can. I've come to this farm to learn about one way they're doing that, the Sojo method.
One kind of new technology innovated by the CDSP, and it is called surgeon method of cultivation.
Yeah.
And it is a new technique in this area, because the low-lying area, it was not any crops could be grown in the low-lying area. So after introducing this surgeon method of cultivation, they can prepare the ditch and also the ridge.
So this is such an ingenious way of doing some cultivating now, some farming actually, because look, space is at a premium and most people can't actually afford to have that much land. So what they're doing now is getting more bang for their buck, because as you can see underneath, they've got some water, they've got some space for fisheries, for growing fish to eat, to sell, but also on the top here, they've put this netting down, and that is where, using these mounds, they can grow these beans. So, same space, but they're able to grow two different produce and then sell them and get more money for what they used to, which obviously everyone is happy after that.
And local farmers have been able to expand their business, sell more, and invest the cash back into their families as a result, like this woman.
মানে রেনু হেলাই রেনু বড় হইলে তো এটা বেশি এরি বেশি তো মানে এই ক্ষেত খামার আবারে সালাম দি ঘোড়া গাড়ি কিনি মানে নিজেরা খাই ছেলে সন্তানরা পড়ালেখা করে এগুলা করি এরি
Is that something that now you couldn't do before?
না এটা মানে আমরা নতুন করে শিখছি এর এই দেশে আইছি এর আগে তো হাতে থেকে এটা জানি না অনেক দেশে শিখি তো অনেকগুলা করি এরি
So what are your hopes then for your kids, because you can send them to school?
মানে লেখাপড়া করব মানে তো শিক্ষা হইলে মানে আদবলে শিখবো পড়ালেখা হইলে জ্ঞান বুদ্ধি শিখবো সবগুলো আঙ্গুরে বলবো আসি কি পড়ালেখা করছে কতটুকু পাচ্ছে এটা মানে আঙ্গুরে শুনে বেটে এই জন্য পড়ালেখা করাইতে আছে
Arnu thinks this is brilliant to help the country domestically.
Now we need to make this next step, because the Bangladesh is becoming a low middle income country, wants to make that step.
It's plain to see how much this country has come on at this thriving floating market. Farmers from all over come here with their products to get a fair price, and then it's taken to the capital and all around the country on boats, the fastest way to move goods in Bangladesh.
It is a very important marketplace, and you see all the tomatoes, the brinjal and other agricultural products.
Yeah, more just coming in.
These are produced in nearby the area, and this will transported to other places as Bhairab, and Dhaka to get the more prices. Whenever there was no submersible road,
Yeah.
all the tomatoes are rotten here.
That's
And if tomato was sold 1 taka or 2 taka per kg.
Yeah.
At the same time, the same tomato was sold in Dhaka in 25 taka per kg. So the producer get very low price, but the consumer buy with a more price.
Yeah.
Now there is a negotiation. So if it is sold in Dhaka in 25 taka,
Yeah.
now the farmers are getting at least 10-15.
a little bit more money.
Yeah, 10 to 15 times more.
This is all really fresh produce from around the area. And now these really hard-working farmers, they're able to get more money for this brilliant produce than they would have been when there were transport problems and there wasn't the infrastructure and the roads in place. All the fruit, all the vegetables would go rotten, so they'd be getting basically about 1 or 2 taka for a kilo. But now, because they've been able to get it here faster, they're able to transport it around the country faster and get more money for their produce, which means that they will all get richer, have better profits, and ultimately this region will prosper. So I think that's a really positive of this infrastructure project.
And while that's good, it's not enough. According to studies, nearly half of Bangladesh's population works in agriculture, with more than 70% of its land dedicated to growing crops. But even with all that, the country only gets about 13% of its GDP from farming. I find that quite staggering, to be honest. Arnu Hamale says that's a priority for the future.
And that's what we will focus on, that we can have a countryside which is productive, connected to the market, and even if possible connected to international markets. I also think it will be very difficult because there's too many people in the countryside. So you need to find crops which are labor intensive and which are exportable, which can generate real incomes and a future for this countryside.
Whatever the future does hold for Bangladesh, it's on the right path. GDP has slowly been increasing over the last decade, as has literacy rates, whilst the number of children living below the poverty line has been steadily going down.
Yeah, Bangladesh had this image of being one of the poorest countries in the world, where millions of people died from hunger, and that has happened. But I'm so impressed, really, to now see Bangladesh as really a middle income country, but also a middle developed country. Their people are very hard working. They all have a relatively good education. So there is an enormous potential. So let's work on that potential.
It's clear to see that Bangladesh is a vibrant country with people trying to get by however they can. Despite all the challenges from climate change, the people here are trying to do what they can to make their future bright and prosperous. Thanks for watching this series called Bangladesh, the Climate Frontline. If you enjoyed these videos, please do share with others and hit subscribe. I look forward to bringing you more incredible stories about climate change in the future.